And hello. Hi, everybody. We are live. This is FSP, the second edition, second episode, second time you're seeing our faces all together here for this awesome show that we are excited to bring you each and every week. It was first week I thought went like extremely well. I was super happy to see everybody hanging out in the chat, people sharing and liking and having fun, positive gaming talk. And hey, we're back like we said we would be. Like look at this awesome panel, guys. What's up? We got just like last week, we got the usual suspects here. Angela, aka Phasma. Hey, what's up? How are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Not bad.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm scared out of my mind today again.
again, you'll
Yes.
get used to it. It's each and every week. Hey, you'll get used to it. It's been a cool day though because we got lots of like gaming stuff today, and it usually doesn't happen on a Saturday, right? So that was pretty cool. I know you saw at least the Gotham Knights trailer, right?
And the Batman. Yeah, like I was saying a little bit ago, I have zero clue what was going on in either, but
Yeah,
I like Robert
you just
Pattinson anyway.
yeah, right on. So you're like where you were Team Edward, basically, is what you're saying.
I was more team let her be single because Edward was pretty controlling and you know,
Right on.
Jacob was kind of a jerk. So that's not what we're
Yeah.
here to talk about today.
No, that's not. Hey, what's up to the chat? Also, crazy Louie is hanging out here. Shizno is hanging out. I see Ilu Spook is hanging out. We got Liam, as well. Shout out to all you. Hey, my beautiful wife Kaitlin is here also, who um helps with a lot of the stuff on the show. We also got Key. What's up, Key? How you doing, man?
What's going on, you guys? I'm excited to talk about today. Oh, I'm excited, man. But of course, how's everybody in the chat doing? Happy Saturday. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful day. And yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. How's everybody doing?
I'm
Pretty
doing
good.
fantastic.
So I love to hear. I love to hear it.
I see this. Okay, I gotta call something out real quick because I see in the chat because I the Neon X. What's up? I don't know if you're a bot or whatever, but I keep seeing the same copy and paste comment. Like it was like in this show before it started. I seen it on a comment on one of the videos and some other stuff as well. So I don't know if like that's just you copying pasting that like everywhere, but hey, that's cool. I get you're trying to get your point across, but um yeah, interesting tactic there to get that point across, I guess. Hey, Fuzzy, how are you doing, sir? What's up,
Oh,
man?
I'm doing wonderful. Man, busy week for me with the kids and their 16th birthday, so they're they're halfway adults, I guess you could say, to some extent. But man, just so much gaming stuff and fun this week, and man, so excited to be here. And thank you to the chat coming out. And man, let's get into it.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude. This is FSP episode 2. Now, I want to start off like with getting into a little bit of what we just saw today. Um, and that's Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League because it's fresh, right? We just got this stuff. I know Key was watching these as well, and so I'm curious. Like, we'll go to Key first. Like, it seemed like they focused more on the story with these trailers. We didn't really get any gameplay. They're in-engine trailers, but did you see something you were looking for, like that get you extra excited about either one of those games?
You know what? Going back because after I watched the trailer, I went back and watched when they first announced it last year just to kind of see updates or whatnot. And it looks pretty good compared to last year. I would
Yeah.
have loved to see some type of gameplay, of course. Who wouldn't want to see gameplay, especially with Suicide Squad? Because I'm very interested on how this team is about to go and literally try and take out Batman, Flash, like Superman, like
Mhm.
because normally they're either trying to run away from them or they have some type of plan or something, but now they're actually going after them. So it's like I'm curious to know how that's going to play out. I'm very excited for that Gotham Knight. Like I'm super excited for Gotham Knight. It's
Yeah.
unreal. And again, no gameplay sucks, but I guess the reason I'm excited for Gotham Knight more than anything, the story. It's a different story. Bruce Wayne, he's dead. Now he left it to the team, whether they screwed him over or he part ways with them. It's just the fact that Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, who has trust issues, left this type of mission to this particular team. So I really want to see how that's going to play out, and if it's anything like the previous Batman game, we in good shape. We are in good shape, hands down. So
it's interesting because like the original Batman team, the Rocksteady team, is the ones making the Suicide Squad game, right?
mhm.
And this is made by, I think it's WB Montreal. I'm not 100%, I can't remember, but it looks like it's getting a lot of that feel and vibe, but it's got more of like a RPG aspects with co-op open. And I remember like last year when they showed a lot of the gameplay, they had like hit markers and stuff. So some
Yep.
people were like, "Oh, is this going to be another like Avengers or whatever?" But I think today a lot of those concerns were alleviated based on how much they focused on the story,
Yeah,
right?
even to that, if you go back and rewatch the trailer, because the first time they showed the trailer, they show the fighting style or whatnot, but a lot of the times they actually show them fighting together, which this particular trailer, it actually showed them separating, like they was
Yeah.
focusing on them doing their own thing type deal. So,
Mhm.
I agree with you. I feel like they're going the right direction versus last year trailer. And even to the hit markers, I'm hoping it's there because of the type of team ups you can do, far as
Mhm.
takedowns or stuff like that. So I'm hoping that's what that is, or
Yeah.
pertaining to that system. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, of course, we just have to wait and see. And hopefully, we'll get more during the video game awards. I'm hoping, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Cool, man. Yeah, I agree, dude. I don't mind the RPG stuff, right? I think it was cool, and I think it just kind of freaked people out because they're all of a sudden assuming a lot of things because of that, right? But I think it actually adds maybe a level of this is meant to be an ongoing gameplay experience, so in that
Right.
way, but also they're still coming out with that cool story, right?
Yeah, and even today, because I was sitting there and I was watching Suicide Squad trailer and Gotham Knight, and I was just really thinking like, wow, like this is a great opportunity because we're not focusing on the iconic character. We're not playing as Batman. We're not playing as Superman. Like we're playing as the villain or the sidekick, which is a good thing to me because we get to see more of the story, their background, and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it, man. Hopefully this open up doors for other games that they focus on the sidekick or other characters that's not pertaining to the big three, Batman,
Yeah,
Superman, Wonder Woman.
yeah, heck, yeah, 100%, man. Fuzzy, do you have a chance to check out either of those as well?
Yeah, I really enjoyed, even though, like he said, it would have been great if it was gameplay, but I really enjoyed the CGI trailer for the Suicide Squad, and particularly like the humor at the end with penguins in flight type of deal. Um, it's definitely one of those games I'm looking forward to. Um, would love to see, like he was saying, like the combos, as far as if you're able to have like a combo damage or a combo finisher type of deal between the characters, whether it's co-op or if you're switching between them type of deal, preferably like a co-op if at all possible. Because I think even Gotham Knights is going to be set up where you can do co-op, but I really want to see gameplay. I want to see more about this game because I'm really excited for it. With Gotham Knights, I was kind of already sold on it, and now with
Mhm.
the announcement of, like, a lot of people had speculated about the owls um, and whatnot. So now that they've officially revealed that that's going to be pretty much one of the villains that you're going to encounter, it's going to be pretty cool as well. Always looking forward to some of the Batman titles, and we haven't had one in a while.
Yeah,
Although that combat, that visceral combat's kind of lived on in other games, I still want to go back to kind of like Arkham or just Gotham in general, as far as the that overall deal. But using new characters, kind of looking forward to that as well, just to see some of the different moves and things that they're going to have, some of the different toys that you'll be able to, deploy and stuff like that. So
yeah.
definitely excited for both.
I just saw Shizno. A shout out to Shizno's comment. He that is a good point. Like, if you're going to make a co-op game, right, and you had Batman and all the sidekicks, like it's maybe better if Batman's not in there, so that way, like, not everybody's fighting over Batman, right? That does make sense.
And see, that's what I was saying. Like, this should be a test run to open up doors for other, heroes or villains that don't nobody shine the light on. Like, man, can you imagine if they really come out with um a really legit Batgirl game? Like, just we hear Batman, but it's just her trying to like
Yeah.
get Batman attention or stuff like that. Like, we know Batman exists in this world, or even to like a Robin, a Damian version of Robin, where it's like, you got this Robin where Batman's his son, his father, but he's not really listening to him and doing his own thing. So it's like he's stuck with, like, it just opened up so many different, opportunities. I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, I could be stretching, but I just felt like this should be a test run to just, if this works, let's bring other heroes or other villains to the picture and see how that works,
Yeah, that's a good point. Phasma, I know you said you didn't really know what was going on because like you're not really invested into that world, right? But
Yeah.
was there something about it that intrigued you, like at all, like about the trailers, or does it just seem like, okay, this is another superhero game?
Yeah. To be honest, you know what?
It's okay. You can
Actually,
be
never
honest. You're
mind.
not
I
gonna
saw
hurt
what
my
I want to
feelings.
say.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings.
I
I'm just
know. I didn't
honestly
know it
curious.
was a game when I was watching it. I didn't know what I was watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. It's just not my thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But I
you're
did watch
fine.
it, you know?
So you're familiar with like the Arkham Knight games, like Batman Arkham Knight, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City, right?
I tried
So
Arkham Knights or Night. I tried
okay,
it. I
not for
didn't
you.
really get into it. No.
Okay, so
Sorry,
this is
everybody.
like similar style gameplay, but co-op. But you're playing as like Batman's like ex sidekicks, pretty much, right? Like instead of like being Batman and you're going around and I guess Batman's dead, right? So that's Gotham Knight. And then there's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is another game which you can play co-op or solo, either one, which is cool that they're doing this option because like Guardians of the Galaxy game that's coming out, it's like it looks like it has an interesting story, but like it sucks that you can only play as Star-Lord when you got all these cool characters running around, right? Maybe it'll be for the benefit of the story, I don't know. But with like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, it's made by Rocksteady, who kind of invented this formula for these games, right? And you're going to be able to play solo or co-op, and it looks like they're taking the story in some dark directions as we actually saw somebody's head get blown off in the trailer, right? So they're not holding anything back. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Hopefully that was a Riddler head.
The Riddler. I don't remember whose head it was. I think it's just like like some random person. I can't remember. If you remember whose head got blown off in the trailer, guys, put it in the comments below. um, we saw them also jokingly like keep electrocuting Penguin, like convincing Amanda Waller to electrocute Penguin. That was
Uh,
hilarious, right? So this is gonna have some humor. That was great.
Kind of
Okay.
remind you of the movie a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Go for
No,
it. Go
no, no,
for it.
please, by all means. I just
Oh
have
no,
a question.
I'm just saying, that humor plays a big part in that team just based off the movies, So
Yeah,
hopefully they'll keep it.
yeah, for sure. We want to say something, Phasma?
I was just gonna ask you how you think it's gonna compare to like the Avengers game.
Ooh, that's a good question. Because okay, so the Avengers game is Square, right? Square Enix, and they put their best Western developer team on it in Crystal Dynamics, and they made a huge deal. It was one of their biggest things they tried to tackle, right? Making this Avengers game. I mean, that's a huge license. That's a huge property, right? So they came out and they released what we got. And what a lot of it worked really well with the Avengers because you got the good story elements, right? Great writing and stuff like that when there's an actual story there. But then you got this like forced gameplay loop HUD Destiny style stuff kind of jammed in there, but it wasn't ever that wasn't really thought out or fleshed out well. It was seemed like it was kind of, hey, this is just our monetization system thrown in on top of this game, make it work, right?
Yeah.
That's what kind of killed a lot of the Avengers. Plus, there's some other things. So the difference between these two games for me so far, what I've noticed, is they seem more focused on the story elements, right? And less about talking about these systems that they're going to implement for like games as service, right? So that's what I'm hoping. Not to say that it can't extend and live its life as that style of game going forward, but that should be like a natural thing, not like something that's just like forced upon it and is going to be empty at launch, right? Like, because that's what we get a lot of times. So, I think with Rocksteady and also with the other team, I think it was WB Montreal, whoever's making Gotham Knights, I think they're on the right track. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I feel like I really do feel like the Arkham series was just damn near perfect to the point where it's like, man, you can't go wrong. Like you can't go wrong. You know, you got your new characters, add some combos together. You know, like everything was even visually wise. Like people today still say that, you know, any of the Arkham games still is like top notch, and that was back in the 360 PS3 days. You know, yeah, PS3, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Didn't it first come out on
Yeah.
PS3, then PS4?
Mhm.
That's where it ended, and
Yeah.
Xbox One. Okay, yeah. So even to then, it's like, man, everything is literally there. Just add the new characters, you know, probably add, you know, some upgrade systems. Like, I just feel like you can't go wrong with this. Like, you have to really be trying to mess this up. I think so.
Yeah, that's a good point. Fuzzy, like, you got any worries about that stuff, or are they kind of like alleviating that, focusing on the story on these trailers?
No, I don't have any worries. I mean, the combat that they've created over there in their previous games, and that we've kind of seen live on in like Mad Max and even Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, that close combat or hand to hand combat, that itself, I mean, even Spider-Man to some extent is
Yeah.
a similar evolution of that type of style, a combat style.
Everybody uses it that has that style of action game now. It's like the de
Mhm.
facto like combat is what Rocksteady invented
Yeah.
with Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, so I would say that foundation and then being able to build on it with the new characters. I don't there's really no worry. I think the only worry is, given, you know, this game was supposed to release a little bit sooner, and you know, stuff happens 2020, and you know, the C word that we're not going to say with numbers at the end. Um, it was just one of those things where the only concern is that, you know, hopefully that their team is, able to get everything, on track, and continue to work through it without having to, crunch last minute to, meet some sort of quota or demand time or something like that. But outside of that, I'm pretty confident in what they're working on, and it being, not quite like what Avengers did, because Avengers, I think, and I probably have to put more hours into it. I think for the looter shooter aspect, for a looter shooter fan like myself, when I heard that the cosmetics or the loot really isn't going to give you any cosmetic advantage, or the cosmetics versus the incremental bumps and stuff, just didn't seem to make sense. It was like it was disjointed so they could sell more skins or something. But I don't foresee that being any type of issue with Arkham Knight. Like, in fact, I remember, or with Gotham Knights, I remember with Arkham Knight, they used to give you some of the cosmetics free. Like, they had a season
Mhm.
pass where you would get cosmetics, but they gave out a good handful of them, as free DLC, like based on upcoming movies and things like that. So I think they'll be fine. with this release and not making mistakes of other studios past and stuff like that.
Speaking of mistakes of studios past, good thoughts there, Fuzzy, as well. But hey, BioWare. Let's talk about BioWare. Um, who is a studio that has made lots of mistakes in the past, but also is a lot of it their fault? Who knows? Because like you could say Anthem was another example of an Avengers, right? Where they built something technically extremely sound, but was forced with these systems and stuff and not really given the time or ability to flesh it out as well as they should, right? And it seems like after Andromeda, after Anthem, BioWare was like, ooh, where was the BioWare we all loved and remembered, right? They kind of had a little bit of a coming back now with the Mass Effect remaster. With that trilogy, it kind of inspired some new hope. They had they revealed that they are working on another new Mass Effect game, right? That's going to be a continuation. Then they also are working on Dragon Age 4, which is the next big game coming from them. They've been working on this for so long, and this is a game that I know for a fact Phasma is extremely excited about. As we have spoken
I'm
about
so
this.
excited. Sorry, go ahead. I'm so excited.
Dragon Age is like one of those franchises for me as well. That's just like I remember when it was originally announced, and I found out that BioWare was making a spiritual successor to like Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, right? But in their own world, not relying on the D&D license, and they're going to have to create this universe. And then they came out with Dragon Age Origins, and they came out with Dragon Age 2, and then it's like, okay, some people were down on 2 a little bit, it was a little different. And then they took a dramatic shift with Inquisition, right? But it was a great game still. It's still now, but if you go play it now, it still feels a little like dated now. It's been a while. It was like an Xbox One launch game pretty much, like that first year. Hey, but this time it's been a long time. It's been a lot of work, and it was revealed recently that it is going to be only on next gen consoles and PC. So that to me means potentially that this game may not be capable of running on last gen hardware, because why wouldn't you release it on current gen if it's capable, right? So does that excite you in any kind of way about the potential of what Dragon Age is going to become, Phasma? Is this like give you hope for BioWare and for the franchise?
Yes. I loved Inquisition though. That's one you guys already know. It's one of my top 2 games. But yeah, I'm just unbelievably excited and really happy that I managed, that I got a Series X, because I can play this game now. Hopefully it's not, a 2023 or 2024 release. But, I have really high hopes for the game. I think it is going to be a powerful game, and I think it's going to be beautiful, graphics wise. I'm
just curious what it's going to be like, because it's been so long. They took a dramatic shift with Inquisition, right? And this article from Video Games Chronicle says in July it was claimed that Dragon Age 4 development was on schedule ahead of a potential release in 2023. So it looks like they're eyeing a 2023 release. I remember being very disappointed at the Game Awards last year, because out of everything that was rumored to be at the show, the one thing they came out and they said Dragon Age will be here.
Yes.
Right? You remember that? Dragon Age will be at the Game Awards. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Dragon Age, we're gonna get a trailer, we're gonna get all this stuff. And what they had there was the most generic thing possible. Like, were you disappointed by that in that trailer they showed off?
Yes, but at the same time, I get that it was probably really early in development. They probably didn't have a lot, but I think fans are getting kind of itchy for an actual
trailer.
Well, hopefully gameplay trailer.
I think maybe this year at the Game Awards.
That would be amazing, but I don't know. I couldn't say.
Yeah.
But I would love that.
I think so. I think we got a chance because I think that with this news, I think this news is coming out for a reason now that something got out there,
Hmm.
right? And sometimes, like the Game Awards are like a little over, like a month and a half away, pretty much, right? And you see these little like news things come out sometimes and like leaks or rumors when things start getting shown to like press behind the scenes so they can start prepping for things. And somehow
Hmm.
this got out, right? And that I think is pretty cool. That it gives me hope that we're gonna see it sooner than later because this came from somewhere, right? So, is a Dragon Age a game that you've been into? Like, no, that's cool.
I mean, I know of Dragon Age, of course. Whether you into it or not, at one point in time, you definitely tried it,
Yeah,
just due to the hype by itself. But I am going to pick this one up, honestly, because back then versus now, of course, you're involved as a gamer. You want to try new things and just see what it's about. And who knows, it might spark my interest to go back and play the others. I doubt it, but
yeah.
you never know.
It is kind of like it's very specific. Like it fills a niche. It's a very niche, I would say, type franchise. The first two games.
Hmm.
Inquisition, I think, tried to spread it out more to like a bigger audience, right? But kind of like changing some of the core mechanics and the camera angles, and they made it a little bit more actiony. Whereas the first two were stayed a little bit more true to the CRPG roots, right, of
Right.
the game, right? So if you like that style of game, then it's going to be all for you. But there's going to be a lot of people that would go into a Dragon Age game and be like, "What the heck is this?" You know what I mean?
And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, just I'm going in blind. I'm just gonna be real. I can't sit up here and make up something about the
Mhm.
past ones I played because honestly, I didn't get that deep into it, And it's kind of like Mass Effect, to be honest with you. Like I remember
Mhm.
beating Mass Effect 2. I didn't like one that much for some reason. And 3, I never completed. But Mass Effect 2, I ran through it. I loved it, everything. And then when they just came out with the remaster, is like, or the remake, excuse me, the trilogy, it's like, man, I was all into one and I never been into one like that. So Dragon Age might be the same way. I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely got its history and it's got its lore. I'm the thing they've been working on this one for longer than any Dragon Age they've ever
Hmm.
previously worked on, right?
And
So
see
that's
that,
exciting.
and see that goes back to what they were saying about it only being PS5, PC, and Series X because, like you said, they've been working on it for so long, and there's probably so much into it, as far as graphics, details, story. Like it's only right to put it on the more powerful machine.
Mhm.
It's only right. Come on now. We all seen what happened to Cyberpunk. I'm gonna always every show I'm gonna bring that up if it's pertaining to any type of game, just doing current gen versus next gen or whatever the case might be. Like, don't nobody want to end up like Cyberpunk,
Right.
especially when you put a lot of time into it, a lot of money, a lot of power, a lot of crunch time, not just time. I go back, not time, but crunch time. You want your game to be successful and you want it to run right and you want it to just be hopefully candidate game of the year, if not game of the year. So it's only right for it to be on a more powerful machine so you can experience that.
Yeah. I remember speaking of Cyberpunk, the crazy thing about Cyberpunk with like I had a decent experience playing what I've played of it on the next gen consoles, right? There wasn't as many issues there, but the thing with Cyberpunk is it was always marketed as a last gen game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was
Right.
marketed as an Xbox One and PS4 game, right? And the only reason that it even got a next gen release is because it was delayed so much, right? And if that next gen version hadn't existed and only the last gen versions were out, uh could you imagine how much crap they would have gotten at that point, because those were the ones that had all the major issues, right?
Yeah.
Um, uh, I agree with you there. Those I think the ambition a lot of times for these newer games, right? These new games, these devs, they want to do so much. They want to do so much, and even games are scalable, right? But at some point, when the vision is so high,
Mhm.
there's got to be that cutoff point, right?
Right.
Um, to where it can be potentially um detrimental to the development of a game if they're worrying about too many different things, right? Now, I've seen games though that come out that look great on Series X and look good on Xbox One, right? And PS4 and PS5 and vice versa. But those games, I guess, seem more like they're built on last gen tech and then like scaled up potentially. I don't know. Fuzzy, what do you think, man? Like, do you think this is good for Dragon Age?
I think it's good for Dragon Age or any game, like you said, that's going to be ambitious, whether it's the size of the world, number of AI, the overall, visual effects, particle effects and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I'm kind of new to the Dragon Age series. Like for me, right now, BioWare, it's kind of a scab wound right now for me to some extent. Being new to Mass Effect, fell in love with Andromeda, bought the deluxe edition, and then they didn't do the DLC content that they said they were going to do. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and then kind of fell in with Anthem, bought the deluxe edition of that as well. Enjoyed the game for what it was, although it was pitched as being a bigger, more ambitious game. But it looks like, after Jason Schreier's, article on the whole studio, it was one of those things where they didn't really have the game nailed down until like a year and a half before release, where one of the
Mhm.
EA execs was like, yeah, I want to see your a mock-up of what you're working on, and then they finally added the flying mechanic, and he was like, yeah, make that. And they had
Right.
to rush to kind of build the game around that demo.
It's crazy when you hear some of these stories about how when the games are shown and really not knowing what the game is yet, like when they are revealed. That always baffles my mind because like they get so much excitement, but like the devs haven't even like started building it yet,
Yeah,
right? And a lot of people ask why we don't get gameplay trailers. Well, that's why they don't have any gameplay to show. Like they haven't even built anything yet, right? Like,
yeah.
but at the same point, if you are committed to that vision, I'm okay with those early announcements. But like when in a case like Anthem, right? Like they weren't committed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like EA wasn't committed to that experience
no.
to making it what it needed to be. They just
And
had
they
a
kind of dropped that
soft
whole ball
paycheck.
with 2.0 as well. So,
So
Yeah, they gave up on it.
it's so because apparently I'm the less excited one. I'm more excited at the fact that people are excited for Dragon Age, but
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, do that make you guys worry more about Dragon Age due to what happened with Anthem? Because, like you
And,
said, we don't have videos yet.
mhm.
I don't even do we have any photos of it? I don't even think we have any concept
No,
art or
we have
nothing.
nothing for Dragon Age
Yeah.
except we have concept art and a sneak peek trailer that was like mainly artwork, right? That's the thing. Like Phasma knows the history with BioWare as well because I think you've been a BioWare like gamer, right? Mass Effect and all that stuff too, right? Like,
I
no
didn't
Mass
play Mass
Effect.
Effect. No, I bought. So I tried Andromeda first. Didn't like it. Then for some reason I bought the Legendary
The
Edition
trilogy, right?
trilogy, and I probably am like 4 hours into the first one.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're fine. Like so here's the thing, like BioWare is one of was the one of the most iconic and was like it was pretty they used to be like the gold standard, right? For RPGs. Like if it because Baldur's Gate was like one of the original like great RPGs, right? Then
Mhm.
they made Neverwinter Nights, then they go on and they make Knights of the Old Republic, then they go and make Jade Empire, right? And then they go and make Mass Effect Trilogy, and then that's when things started going. They made Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition. That's when things started going a little after that, a little sideways, right? Because then we get um Mass Effect Andromeda,
Hmm.
and then Anthem. And it's like, what happened to this gold standard of like game companies that was like the best developer out there? And EA happened, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the bottom line is like EA became because EA, I wouldn't say today is as bad as EA was then, right? You seen EA make a lot of good moves recently, but with the way they were handling things with some of BioWare's games, it kind of seemed like they were going downhill. And then you had the two doctors who were in charge of BioWare. They had left, right? So it kind of becomes like, who is BioWare these days? Like, what are they capable of, right?
Yeah.
Now, Anthem was made by another team within BioWare, right? That I think team was actually shuttered. I think it's like, is it BioWare Austin potentially or something like that? I can't remember. And somebody in chat, if you remember, uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but this game seems like, okay, they're resetting. EA has a new vision, it has new standards, right? Want to do things properly, and they are reinvesting into making BioWare what it was. So that's why I have hope with this, right?
I'm kind of on the same wavelength on that because, like you said, EA. I want to give credit where credit's due with Respawn and Vincent
Hmm.
Bella. He seemed to have kind of cracked the code on how to right the ship on some of the behind the scenes stuff where you don't have to necessarily use Frostbite all the time. Um, with current EA games, and they've definitely given their devs a little bit more attention or a little bit more leeway or room. Um, and the fact that they've spent the amount of time that they have, and it doesn't seem like there's as much transition or retention issues with employee or management at BioWare as of recent with the Dragon Age setup. I think this is in better shape. Well, I'm pretty confident it's in better shape than what Anthem was going through and what Andromeda was going through. So it's not as worrisome for me. I'm going to give it a try, especially considering, hey, Game Pass Ultimate, you get to try the first 10 hours for free. So it can't hurt. And if it gets me hooked, it's definitely a buy at that point. But yeah, I think EA now understands some of the missteps they've made. So they're less likely to kind of trip themselves up or trip up their devs before, a major launch. So this one, fingers crossed, should be a smoother, especially looking at how the trilogy went, the remaster. Oh, I know a lot of people were kind of nervous on that one, but that one, I think they knocked it out of the park on that, updating mechanics and things like that. And we even
Yeah.
have another Mass Effect that's kind of cooking in the oven in the background as well. So it seems like this BioWare has turned the page or rounded the corner or however you want to say it. I think they're on track.
Right. Yeah. So I was thinking of Austin, by where Austin was making Andromeda. Okay. And there was some weird stuff with Andromeda, like with the facial animations and all that stuff at launch. So they fixed a lot of things. If you go back, and a lot of people still enjoyed Andromeda, but I wasn't one of them. I just couldn't get into it like I did the originals. But what I want to know from Phasma
Mhm.
is, what do you want from Dragon Age 4? Like, do you have a vision of it in your head that like, or do you just say whatever they make is gonna be good, But or is there something? Do you want it to go back to like the original style? Do you want it to continue with Inquisition style and like keep going from there, or what?
Oh, without a doubt, I wanted to continue with Inquisition style. That game is just incredible. Um, I mean, at this point, we don't even have a name for the game yet. We just know it exists. So
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's
I
Dragon Age
hope
4. I don't know.
you know, right? Um, I hope it stays on the same style. I would hate for them to just change it all. It's kind of like Elder Scrolls. Like I would want them to keep Elder Scrolls 6 along the same lines of Skyrim and not so much of ESO.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
That was
see.
people's fear with 4 is that they would make Dragon Age into a online service game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of that's where EA was doing at the time with Anthem. But my gut tells me since they failed with Anthem, they're focusing more on just putting good games out, right? And
I
I'm
really
hoping
hope
that's
you're
the
right.
case.
I really hope. Like just keep it like I don't mind if there's a co-op or multiplayer mode, but just I don't want the online live service style of game. Just keep it as it is.
Yeah. Did you play any of the multiplayer in Inquisition?
I did. I played a little bit of it. Actually, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't bad. It's been so long. It's crazy. It's been that I think that was 2013 when Inquisition came out.
Oh my gosh, was it really? I only played it a few years ago.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was year one of the Xbox One, and because there wasn't a lot of games that came out that year, right? And I remember it got like IGN votes for like Game of the Year and stuff like that. But it's been a while. It's crazy that these franchises have taken so long.
So let me ask you guys. It seemed like out of four of us, we're kind of 50-50 with it, excitement versus gonna try it because it's on Game Pass or whatever. Like, sell me on this game. Like, because just this conversation is not selling me on this game.
Okay.
So sell me this game.
You want me to sell you on Dragon Age? I'll be the one to
Sell
sell
it
you
to
on
me.
Dragon Age.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Now, do you have a history of playing any of the like old school CRPGs from back in the day? Like, did you play Diablo or did you play
Yep, I did. Yep,
Baldur's
played
Gate?
Diablo. Yep.
Okay. What about Neverwinter Nights back in the
No.
day?
Nope.
Okay. So Neverwinter Nights on PC back in the day was one of my favorite games of all time, right? And so, but those games, Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, were D&D games. Okay. So let me first sell you on Dragon Age, period. Okay. So what they did was BioWare was like, hey, we're not going to go get the license anymore for D&D. We're going to build our own thing. They built their own fantasy world, right? They built their own rule sets and everything that those games use, right? They built all that stuff. They built their own lore, their own history, and everything. This fully fleshed out world. And then they came out with Dragon Age Origins, which played more like a hybrid between a more of a modern game and a CRPG because it was able to come out on consoles and PC, right? And because it stayed true to a lot of the roots of the CRPGs, with some of the mechanics and the move sets and the leveling up systems and the skill trees, right? That's where one thing that stands above a lot of other RPGs is the skill trees because you can be a higher level and unlock a new ability that completely changes your style of play. So you have something that you are really working towards, something that you really feel like a great sense of progression, right? And that's something they had always nailed with the CRPGs in the past from BioWare, and they nailed it again with Dragon Age because you got these different classes, different characters. There's great story, there's great voice acting, there's great interactivity, there's great enemies in this whole world, but you're also getting that sense of progression and gaining in power, right, as you move through the story, right? And it's got it doesn't feel as grindy as it does that you're moving forward, even though you do have that sense of progression, right? So then the Dragon Age 2 came out and it was a little bit more focused, right? They kind of like shrunk down this big world into like this city. And so some people were like, it's not big enough, right? So and everything, but it's still a great game. Dragon Age Inquisition came out, they flipped it and they made it a little bit more actiony, to be even more modern, right? So where the camera angle shifted, you're more behind the character, but they still found a way to retain all those other things that made Dragon Age great, with the leveling up system, with the skill trees, and with the dialogue, with the story. In fact, it won a lot of Game of the Year awards with Dragon Age Inquisition. The story is fantastic. Plus, you have these great, deep RPG mechanics set into this great fantasy world, right? Then now we have, for the first time in almost 8 years, the next evolution of what that's going to be, made by one of the greatest RPG developers of all time. The creators of KOTOR, the creators of Jade Empire, the creators of Neverwinter Nights, the creators of Baldur's Gate, all of those games making this next gen only game. So that's my selling point. I want to see what it is, right? But if it evolves it in some kind of natural way and they still maintain the core elements of what had always made their games great in the past, I think it's going to be awesome. Hopefully that somewhat sold it, but I'm excited.
It didn't. No,
No,
but
that's fine.
but see, no. All jokes aside, though, just off what you were saying, I guess the thing is, again, I haven't played much of Dragon Age, so I'm just looking forward to checking it out. Of course, we need to see. You saying it's a great story. I'm hoping it's a great story because, of course, it's Dragon Age 4. So therefore, we didn't hit 3 other games, so it had to be something to get the fans hyped. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna try it out. It just wanted to hear somebody that's actually into Dragon Age, like just to hear what you think of it or whatnot, to give me a little background education on it. Because again, I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And although this is a big game, it's like you have gamers out there like me that's just kind of like, oh, Dragon Age, I'll play it, but you know, like I'll play it, sure.
It's a game that can really immerse you, and you can get like lost and like you forget about all the other games out there, and you only think about that game. It's that type. It's been that type of game for me in the past. I want to get to the super chat from Fat Boy Horror. Thank you so much for $5 super chat. He says, "What if Dragon Age 4 is taking so long because they want to release a remaster of the original trilogy beforehand?" That would make a lot of sense. What if we got a surprise announcement on that? It would follow with the MO of what EA's been doing, but also I think it could be, it's been so long, right? And there's there's a lot of people who haven't played those originals, and they honestly need that update, right? They need that update. I will say that Inquisition got I think a 60 FPS boost. They got an FPS boost for series consoles. I don't know about on PS4 if they got, or PS5 if they got the update on there as well, but it does still play better at 60 FPS, but there's still like mechanically like it just still feels a little bit dated now, that I think it could use some help in that regard. Plus, also the other thing is like this game, once you go through it and clear out areas, they stay empty, right? So like you can't just like pop back in, you know what I mean? You have to like start a new game, right? Unless if you have pretty much beaten it. So I I think starting a new game would be better if it was like enhanced in some kind of way.
And see, I'll be all for that because again, and just reading Jay comment, it's like at the end of the day, it gotta strike your attention. You know, I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy person. Love Final Fantasy 7. Come on now, but it's like people are not into Final Fantasy for numerous reasons. And for me, it's like not necessarily saying I wasn't into Dragon Age or didn't want to try it, just didn't catch my attention. I tried a little bit of it, and then it was like, okay, cool game, but yeah. So if something would have happened where they do come out with a remaster of it, I would probably play that quicker than I would Dragon Age 4, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I would be more excited for that before the newer one, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you. I gotta address this comment in the chat real quick, because like I don't understand this kind of mentality from people that like this, hey, you're not a real gamer if this or if that. That's gatekeeping. There's no gatekeeping on this show. There's no gatekeeping that should be in gaming. Period. Like, not everybody's into every franchise. Like, personally, I God of War. Hey, a lot of people love it. I can't get into it. Right.
Mhm.
Last of Us, same thing. Right.
Really?
There's
We need to discuss this sometime.
I know.
I get them.
I
Get
tried.
them. No.
I tried. Right.
No, it's fine.
Uncharted, one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time. Right. I don't like Souls games. I
Mhm.
don't really enjoy them. Right. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean like I try them because I want to be part of the crowd that likes this stuff. Right.
Right.
Like he said, he's tried Dragon Age. Like the whole gatekeeping of like, you're not a gamer if you don't like this or if you don't like that, or that's bullshit. Like 100%.
Mhm.
People
You're a
like
gamer if you
different
play
kinds
games.
of games, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of why I wanted to, point out Jay, like, no assault against him. He got his opinion. That's what we are here for, just to express our opinions. But it's like, like you said, some people like Last of Us 2. Personally, I didn't like The Last of Us 1, but I enjoy Last of Us 2. I love my Uncharted. A lot of people didn't like Uncharted. I mean, everybody have, what they like, what they didn't like, what they hate, what they loved, but at the end of the day, it is all about gaming, and that's where discussions come into play. Why you didn't like it? Why do you like it? Give me a reason to go back and try it on what for. So, like, hey, Jay, you still in here, baby? Keep talking to us, no hate against you, but if I didn't like Dragon Age, at the end of the day, I'm still a gamer, baby, from Atari all the way up until now. I didn't hit them all, and I didn't play them all, and I'm gonna continue playing them. So it's nothing but love over here.
Yeah, I think like the whole conversation of like what makes a gamer is like, so like for me, it's always been like, what does it mean for you if gaming was taken away from you? No matter what, because gaming is different to everybody, right?
Mhm.
Like my experience of the games that I love to play are different than yours. It's different than Fuzzy's, different than Phasma's. Sometimes they all run into each other and we have shared experiences, right? But you know what I mean? Like, as far as what makes somebody a gamer is the fact of if you love playing games, right?
That's what it's about.
100%. So as far as what I want from Dragon Age 4, like I want them to take that leap and just put everything in. And what I want more about it is I want a resurgence of BioWare, because it's been a while since BioWare's had a new game hit, right? Like, and it's been a long time. So that would be amazing to see BioWare make this resurgence. It's happened with other studios where they've kind of fallen off and come back. That's what I want for Dragon Age. I want it to be a statement. Look, we're still here and we're the best at this, and this is our shining example. And maybe that's one reason why it's next gen only, because that gives them the fullest potential to make that happen.
Mhm.
I hope they
So
don't.
that excites me.
I hope they don't let us down.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for it, though. I do.
It's going to be hard to meet expectations on this game because it's been so long. I feel like the longer a game takes to come out, the higher the expectations get. Does it seem like that to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for
if
me,
it,
for sure. But
yeah.
yeah.
Like, if we
Yeah.
got like a sequel 2 years from now of a game, it's like, oh, it's another sequel continuing on the same thing. But if it takes like 8 years to make a game, right?
It better
Like,
be
I
damn
feel like
good.
exactly. You know what I mean?
Like GTA 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that better be like the world reincarnated in a game.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm with you on that too. I do worry if a game take, like, what's average game take about what, 3 to 5 years, give or take,
For a big AAA game, yeah.
for
at
a big
least.
AAA game. You're looking at 3 to 5 years. So
Unless you're God of War.
yeah, I
Some
mean,
of them
but
take longer even than that.
but you see,
Crazy.
God of War, they want to cut ties. We're about to drop this game and we done, but
Mhm.
you know, when games take a long time, especially in today's world where people still working from home, and again, cyberpunk, like we don't want that, you know. I'm on cyberpunk. Come on now. So it do worry me, but at the same time, it's like depending on what you want this game to be like, what you want it to look like, feel like, play like, you know, if the company willing to give you all the time in the world just to make this game perfect, why not take it?
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Jigga J has a comment. He says, "I just want the dopest graphics and for the gameplay to be smooth for Dragon Age 4. I trust already story will be good. Uh, Dragon Age has not had a bad story yet, right? Like, and BioWare always has great stories with their games, right? So yeah, there's really
Mhm.
not much concern there for story. Like, I think more the concern from people would be what type of game is it? Is it gonna be that like games of service style, right? And then if it's that, then they're gonna have a lot to live up to, and it's gonna be hard to meet the standards that people are gonna expect for that.
So are you more so worried about whether it's going to stick with its roots or trying something different?
Well, it different means adopting a formula that's infecting other game franchises all over the place right now. I don't want that. Like I would rather different be their own version of different, right?
Hmm.
Like I don't want them to take this copy and paste uh Destiny clone style system and put it in all the franchises. Like Ubisoft's doing that right now. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Um we have it. Square Enix has been doing that lately as well, right? So you have everybody trying to hit that Fortnite money,
Hmm.
right? Everybody's trying to get that Fortnite game, also the Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone, that Destiny, right? They're all trying to hit it big on this one massive thing, and they think the way to do it is by adopting this certain models that these other games have that have worked, and then maybe they're right. I don't know. But if everything that these companies come out with is trying to strike on that one formula, then we lose the originality of everything that these games have ever been about in the first place, right? And
Right.
that's what I don't want. That's not an evolution for me. That's a cop out of trying to just do it for what they think has the most potential to be a ongoing money machine for the company, as opposed to staying true to the IP, which I understand. You got to make money. That's the way business works, but you can't do that with every franchise, right? The,
Hmm.
the fear is, for me, because Dragon Age has taken so long, because it is one of the most popular franchises that they have. It could be an easy choice for them to say this is the game we're going to do it with. Because Anthem failed. Anthem was a new IP. What did Ubisoft do? Ubisoft had Hyperscape. Hyperscape failed. So now they're going to all the existing IP, and they're doing it with all their existing IP. Like if EA failed with Anthem, I'm hoping Dragon Age isn't their answer,
Right.
right? That's the fear. But I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm hoping they're just moving on from that and just gonna release a Dragon Age game, right? And an evolution, the next gen aspect of what a Dragon Age game could be, but not in that way. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Yeah. Yeah.
Um. So yeah, that's the concern. But I think they're gonna be okay. And I would you want that like Phasma? Like, what if they made it a games of service?
No,
No.
not every game needs to be. I don't know. It's just the thought of it just sounds terrible. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't really like that Ubisoft is doing it. I really don't want Dragon Age to turn into that.
Yeah. It's
That sounds
possible.
terrible.
Hey, I'm just setting the expect a lot of
I
games,
know.
and because they're not necessarily targeting us anymore, right?
Mm-hmm. Nope. everything. It's not about the game anymore. It's just about the cash. So
Yeah, and they're targeting the younger audience, right? Who is
Mhm.
like that's what their world now in gaming is those models, right? And I agree. It's just no says makes a good point. Not every game's a service is bad either.
No,
In
you're
fact,
absolutely right.
I love a lot of them, and I think a lot of them have their place. Fortnite was a new IP. Fortnite was a new game created. Warzone stands alone apart from the traditional Call of Duty experience, right? Battlefield Hazard Zone was revealed, right? And it's part of the Battlefield experience, but it's in addition to, right? Like the problem that with Ubisoft is it was like, okay, Assassin's Creed Infinity, okay, Ghost Recon Frontline, Heartland, X Defiant, all announced within the same year. And all replacing as standalone titles, all standalone titles that are basically taking their existing IPs and transitioning them into a new formula, right?
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that they're going to be bad. They got potential, but like to do it all with all your franchises and then potentially like who knows, were they going to not make new games like with those franchises now? Like that would be sad, right?
Especially Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You
That
know.
just, I really hope that does not become a live service game. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's multiplayer. They've already announced that. Like it's a multiplayer service game pretty much, That
Mhm.
that's what they've said. So it's it got leaked. Then they made the announcement shortly after. There hasn't been like an official like reveal, but they
Mhm.
came out with a statement saying that yeah, this is hey, we're excited to be working on Assassin's Creed Infinity, the next evolution of Assassin's Creed, blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah. That's basically what I read. Like I just know, you know what I mean? But it's not for us anymore,
Yeah,
right?
it just sucks because I love Assassin's Creed. I love games like that, like Skyrim, like Dragon Age, where you just get sucked in for 200 hours and it's such a
Mhm.
great story. The music, everything just keeps you there. And while you're at work, you're thinking about how you'd rather be playing that game. And just to, you know, to think that that style is changing, that it's not going to be single player anymore is it's a little disheartening. I really like Assassin's Creed a lot. I don't want it to change.
No, I'm with you 100%, and compared to the newer Assassin's Creeds to the older style, it's like, I get y'all trying to keep up with, the gang, the Jones, I guess, but it's like Assassin's Creed is a strong name. Strong name. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it or don't forget about it. If y'all want to try something new, that's fine, but don't forget about Assassin's Creed and what it really is.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. It's one of those things where the general idea of like the games as a service for like an Assassin's Creed game kind of has me turned off a bit, but I can see how it could potentially be a good alternative. Like I almost wish there was a way, me being a Super Division fan and really enjoying Origins, really enjoying Odyssey, enjoyed Valhalla, still having a little bit difficulty wanting to complete it. But if the games as a service aspect, like the hub world, allowed you to co-op the missions from the single player, and they continued like either each year or every other year with a new season, new location, or new time period, I could see some potential in that. But what they tried to do with the first division when they had the cosmetics and how you could spend real money versus in-game currency, and then the luck of the draw where it might be duplicates versus, which they eventually fixed with two, but you could run into the same duplicate shirts or pants that, oh, I bought $20 worth of, 20 real dollars spent on in-game currency or in-game boxes, and they keep giving me the same t-shirt, and I get like a third of the value back as like, oh, well, it's a duplicate, take this as a reward, it's a partial key. And it's like that I'm not, that part of it I'm not looking forward to. But if they could make it where let's say I can play as Bayek, but go to Valhalla and co-op with a friend that may already have Valhalla and do some of those missions. That could be kind of cool or kind of interesting. Or let's say they do like the history in Mongolia or something like that in a future season increment, and you could transition to that and do missions there and stuff. It could be cool, but sometimes what they lead off with, like Point Break, where it's like, oh, the same scopes and stuff that you can earn in the game versus spending real cash for it, gets a little worrisome. But it's still serviceable, just not as smooth as many of us may want right out the gate type of thing. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Division 3, which I know probably isn't coming anytime soon, and that Assassin's Creed Infinity will be closer to its roots or closer to Origins and Odyssey and less about some of the potential as far as loot box stuff or season skins. And I mean they've had that for a while, but like where it's more of a push or more of the the drive to play type of thing.
Right. Yeah, I think there's just a concern over like the entire industry with this stuff, right? So I think Assassin's Creed, like each individual game's got to stand on its own, right? Like Assassin's Creed Infinity could be great. Ghost Recon Frontline could be great. Heartland could be great. X Defiant could be. But I didn't mind. I'm not going to say that one could be great. I think that one's good. That one's like going to be garbage no matter what. Um, you know what I mean though. Like all these games individually have a chance to be awesome, right? But when you take in all of your franchises, like in the gaming world that are big and have that IP to sell and using it to be able to come out with models like this, is just overarchingly not a great thing. You know what I mean? Like, because if you don't have, and I see Shizno was asking about like, hey, if you go back and look at the earnings call that they did, Ubisoft did in May, the financial officer from Ubisoft said they're transitioning from the model of 3 to 4 AAA games a year and moving into free to play service model games as their pretty much as their course of action going forward. And we saw that was right after Heartland was announced, and since then we've seen 2 more franchises get announced with those style games, right?
Mm-hmm.
With no faith to the original brand, especially with X Defiant, because you got echelon soldiers in there, echelon agents, like just doing crazy stuff. There's no like, so like, does that mean they're not going to come out with AAA games? No, there still will, but as they have so many developers, right? They have so many developers, but for each one of these that gets announced, that means there's less developers working on AAA projects instead, right? For each one of these, like for Heartland, X Defiant, um, Assassin's Creed Infinity, and what was the other one? Ghost Recon Frontline. That means there's that many less studios out there working on actual AAA projects. So you can see what they could be working on instead, right?
Right.
And that's what we're not getting. Who knows what they could be working on instead? They could be working on that Splinter Cell game everybody wants. They could be working on a next
they must
Rainbow
be.
Six.
Stop.
But no, they're working on this stuff instead, though. You know what I mean? Like it's not like all doom and gloom. Like I said, these games could be great, but like that's what they said themselves, right? They quickly came out and after this doesn't mean we're abandoning AAA games, but like, hey, 4 announcements in a row. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think they've followed. Ubisoft has followed this model before with most of their franchises changing to open world. It happened with Ghost Recon, Assassin's Creed, because that was the trend. It was selling well, right? And now this is the new thing. I just like let the games be what they are. Far
Yeah.
Cry, like I hope it's not the last one. You know, I hope it's not the last one like this. And every Ubisoft franchise out there right now, I have the fear that that was the last mainline game in that franchise. And not mongering. It's a rational fear I have based on their own statements. Just look at Splinter Cell, guys. How long has it been? Right?
Too long.
2012. With no announcement of a new one. That
Yeah.
was one of their most popular mainline franchises, and they can't figure out how to monetize it. So anyway, moving on from Dragon Age, this guy went on to Ubisoft somehow, right? Because of fear of games as service, right? But I want to talk a little bit about the Switch, right? Did you guys see that the Switch? So the Nintendo Switch has a new online expansion offering. You're gonna be able to play 64 games and Genesis games. I remember I had the Switch Online. I don't know why I got it. I think I was just trying to participate, but I did, and it was $20, I think, for a year, right? Which seemed fair for like what you're getting. Getting the ability to play online, which but to me should be free, right? But you know, Xbox Live Gold did it, PS Plus did it, so now Nintendo did it, whatever. And then, but you're also getting some like old like NES style games, SNES and stuff like to play on there. So this new expansion comes with 64 games and Sega was it Sega Genesis
Mhm.
Yep.
games, I
Sega.
think,
Mhm.
right? And it is $50 for a year. So it's like more than double the price on the old offering without really revamping the whole online system. Is that something? Do y'all think it's worth $50? That's what I'm curious about, like what they're offering. Um, Phasma, have you had a chance to see what their thing is?
Yeah, I pay for the family membership. There's four of
Mhm.
us from my family on there. We all play Animal Crossing and Mario Kart and everything together.
Right.
I'm gonna have to keep it because how do you tell a 7-year-old she can't have the new Animal Crossing game? The expansion.
Yeah, yeah. As part of this, it comes with $25. There's a new Animal Crossing expansion that's $25, and if you get this, it comes with that.
Mhm. I'll get it.
So,
I mean, we can piss on all day about the price, but
yeah.
it is what it is.
How much is
I'm
it for the
hoping.
family bundle? Is it like 80? I think
Um, I don't even know. Something like that.
I have it. I have it here. I think. Yeah, 80 for a family plan.
Yeah. And I mean, we pay more than that for. Anyways, I wonder if they're going to be adding additional things to that plan later that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
possible. I hope so. I'm not like gonna bash Nintendo over the price. Ultimately, like $50 for an entire year is not that bad. It's like $4 a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I,
just like for
but
me,
like, I get
it's
it.
yeah,
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. For me, it's more about like what it doesn't like. Like it's still like not a. The service is weird to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand exactly what they're selling. You
We
know,
don't. I get it. We don't even have like voice chat on Switch, so I
yeah,
get the complaints. I understand all of it, and it is a steep price hike, but everything goes up in price. PlayStation games cost more now. By the way, I'm all of your aunt. I see you all in the chat. Hi, I'm Auntie Phasma.
So are
Yeah.
are you saying you're gonna get Nintendo Switch online expansion packs for everybody in the chat?
That's
No.
hey, I was about to say that.
No.
Like, I need to jump on board of this. You know, you gonna be the auntie now. Christmas around the corner.
I'm not rich. No, no,
Because
no.
I'll type in the chat real quick. Just say hi. I'm in the chat. I'm just saying. You know,
I like playing with my family. I like playing games with my niece, you know, like I like that experience. And so, yes, I'll continue to get it. But I do think, I hope that they'll be adding something else to that as well. We'll see.
yeah. It's just weird. So like Nintendo always comes out of left field with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we all anticipate what the next announcement or the next thing from them should be, and they come out with something that nobody was asking for, like at all, right? And like with a weird price and with a weird service, and it's like, who's like making this stuff up? I would love to be in their in their room where they're making these decisions to see like who it is. It's got to be like the weirdest guy in the company, right? The guy that never like thinks like inside the box, right? Everything that they do is so freaking outside the box and outside of what you would expect, right? There was no announcements of any improvement to the service whatsoever, except for more backwards compatibility of stuff, right? Like a Nintendo 64 and Genesis things. In what we understand of how like these online services work, it's just like a strange now. Like it's strange. It's so strange. Fuzzy, were you a little caught off guard by this?
Nintendo beats to its own drum. I don't know if it's necessarily the weird guy in the boardroom that's making the decisions. I honestly think sometimes it's a dartboard. They just, what are we going to give the fans this time? Oh, we got to give them Sega games. Okay, let's.
Sega,
it is their biggest competitor back in the day. Yeah, let's put some of their games on our system and up the monthly costs. Which, who knows, the additional costs may help their infrastructure building later if they're working on the infrastructure. I mean, I I don't have a Switch and I don't want to bash on Nintendo, but it some of their things more recently, like they had Bluetooth in the Switch and now it's active so you can do like headsets and things like that, which is cool. I think you guys might be onto something. Like hopefully there'll be something else coming down the pipeline later. Um, I'm hearing that they're going to add like every month. There's going to be more games for like the back the back catalog from like the N64 days or Genesis days. So at least
Yeah.
there will be more than like, I think they have like 6 or 7 titles from each or something like that that they're adding in, and I'm pretty sure they'll add more to that. But a weird thought came to mind, and I don't want to take us down to speculation town because I know a lot of people in the past have said, "Hey, maybe Xbox should buy Sega." Why not have Nintendo buy Sega? I mean, they're putting Sega games on the Switch. I mean, why not? No. But on a serious note, $80 a year for a family plan, not bad. It would be nice if they had party chat and some of the more current day online things of like PSN or Xbox Live. But that may come in the future. I mean, if enough people sign up for the bigger online plan, then we should really hold Nintendo's feet to the fire for modern features. But it is strange. I know. I guess they burned through all of the free content that they were going to give for the Animal Crossing. Like they did a lot of, I guess, expansion things for free during like 2020 and stuff. And I think they said they were going to do that for like a year. So this is like, I guess, the first paid one that they're doing. But to have that, to have the online, I'm pretty sure people will sign up. There will be value to fans of the N64. I mean, a lot of people would just rather them do like a N64 mini and be done with it. But this is, a nice alternative to that. And let's, fingers crossed they start adding more features, more games to the back catalog. But party chat, so you don't have to use like third party stuff. That would be kind of cool. But fingers crossed that's in the future.
Yeah, man. Hey, Louis, with $20 super chat, appreciate you, dude, so much. He says, "Great show today, guys. Anti-Phasma, you're doing great. Learned a lot today about BioWare stuff I didn't know." Yeah, and he was on our show last night, Xbox Ultimate. Shout out to Louis. He did a great job last night. So Fuzzy, it's hopefully you're right. Like, hopefully we're getting some more. Like, but I just want like I love Nintendo, right? So I don't want a Nintendo bash. But like after when they announced the Switch OLED and didn't announce like the next Switch, right? And then they announced this thing. I'm just curious what the future is, right? Like, is the future adding 25 to 30-year-old games to your service and charging extra monthly for it? Because that's what this ultimately that's what this is. Like, hey, we're expanding our service, our online, by offering you more 25 and 30-year-old games. Which a lot of these, honestly, I had already rebought on the Wii in the Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Which I don't have access to on the Switch.
It'd be nice if they adopt some sort of like not really cross-platform, but I guess like a more continuous ecosystem, kind of like the way Xbox does, where you play on like an older console or a handheld, and some of the older games just like, hey, you have a copy on all your devices that are attached to your account or to the family account. Would be kind of cool. So there's hope for that possibly coming, but I don't know if Nintendo wants to part with the extra dollars that they can make on the individual device purchases and stuff.
So, Key, I see you got the mushroom 1-up lamp over there. You got the Yoshi little character like sitting there on the base, right? You have love for Nintendo, you know.
Actually, I have this one behind my TV because I had nowhere to put it. Is the Mario block with the Mario hanging off of that? So
nice.
But no, my whole thing with Nintendo and this price thing, like, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been with Nintendo for some time now. Just the way they operate, I have a Switch, my son have a Switch day one, and it's like, besides Mario Party, which we play at home, like that's a steep price. Like this is not the answer we was looking for, where we want to see PlayStation and Nintendo come out with their quote unquote own version of Game Pass type deal. Because man, I can't see myself paying that price for an internet connection that's that's somewhat good, somewhat bad. Chat not really there, is horrible. And even to the games, like, again, not a Switch person, but I'm pretty sure up until recently, there's not a ton of games that you're going to be playing online. Like, every time you hear about Nintendo, you hear about Zelda, Metroid, things like that. It's like you're not going to hear about the big games that Nintendo put out that have some type of online mode. Bayonetta 3 is not about to be online. Me too. Like, that's not about to be online. It just won't be. So, for a company like Nintendo that chase, a certain clientele, that's fine, because Nintendo makes some unique games. But for that price point, for little to no games you guys have to offer to play online, that's a pass. Like, that's a hard no for me. Like, unfortunately, I have my 11-year-old that for some reason won't it. don't play online, but he just wanted, so when he do get bored, he want to play online. But you know, it sucks because if it was me, if I hit a Switch, just me, I definitely would not pay that price. Like I just wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I get mad love from Nintendo. You know, the people, whoever thought about that idea, you had a hell of a speech for you to convince the board to be like, yeah, that's a great idea. We're on board. Do it. Push it out next weekend.
Yeah.
Like you had to have a hell of a damn speech to push that. But for me, that goes back to Xbox. People was pissed off when they was about to raise live and all that. Like, but you get more out of Xbox. Like I would pay more if the $15 price tag of Ultimate go up to 20. I would not have zero complaints. Because look what we're getting with that. And with that extra $5, you know, $5 times 20, 30 million people that's on Game Pass. Like imagine the more what we could get with it versus Nintendo doing something like that. It's like, what am I getting in return? That's my biggest thing. What am I getting in return here?
Well, you're getting your Nintendo 64 games.
Stop. Nope.
You're getting Sega Genesis games.
Nope.
And you're getting a $25 Animal Crossing DLC.
Nope. $25. I mean, $25. You could just buy the DLC for Animal Crossing and be done.
Well, you really, honestly, and like other games that you get discounts over time.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
Like maybe Animal Crossing at this point should be closer to $25 to begin with, like itself, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying every game needs to do that, right? But I'm just saying, like, every other publisher has a history of discounting games over time. Like Nintendo doesn't necessarily do that, and it may be like that's why the games always retain their value. But like it used to be a factor of the games being like somewhat rare because they didn't make as many copies, right? So they weren't as easy to obtain. But now it's digital, right? So they have complete and utter control over it. And the crazy thing is they don't need to discount these things because they still sell like crazy. They have such a huge attachment rate. They have some kind of magic formula there at Nintendo where they just kind of like skate through and bypass all the talk and nonsense and stuff that we talk about with Xbox and PlayStation all the time of like, hey, like you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that and you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And Nintendo just kind of like flies on by doing their own thing and just completely being like worse than any other company, like consumer wise.
Yeah,
and nobody mentions it, right? Like it's kind of strange.
It's
right?
very strange because again, you go back to when Xbox was ready to raise their price. I remember when they mentioned raising the price, and literally 20 minutes later, Twitter caught fire. Like people was ready to leave their jobs and freaking destroy Microsoft itself. Like then you look at Nintendo that do stuff like this, and people like, damn, that's crazy, but oh well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh well, just gonna have to do it type deal. And it's like, what you're getting in return. And again, I'm not bashing Nintendo because, like I said, the first show, Nintendo is definitely the very first Nintendo NES. Like, that's my favorite. Like the games that I used to play. Like I played a lot of games, and for that, even to the 64, like Nintendo will always be that special console company, everything. But for today's society where people either don't want to work, out of a job, pandemic is out of control, prices going up, things like that, it's like for you guys to be like, hey, we're going to jack up the price on top of we still not going to give y'all a good internet connection, or, you know, we're going to turn on Bluetooth that we always had this function. We're going to go in the back room and hit the switch and give you guys Bluetooth. But it's like, what are you bringing to the table? Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, and then again, not bashing, you know, might have some Nintendo lovers in the chat. Nothing against you guys. Not saying don't do it. Not saying do it. But for me, I just think I need more than what you get, than what you're willing to offer. Like I just think it's crazy. Because like I said, if Xbox did it, Twitter will be on fire, probably break down for 2 or 3 days. Like, even to PlayStation, PlayStation do it, same thing. But for some reason, Nintendo seemed to be getting away with stuff like this. And the Nintendo fan people out there, it's like, okay, I'll pay as much money as possible to continue playing Smash Bros. And it's like, but that's all you're getting here. That's all you're getting.
Yeah. And I think like the way to compare this comparatively would not be necessarily to Game Pass or something like that. It would be more to like what Xbox Live Gold is or PS Plus, right? Because it's
Right.
roughly the same pricing region. You got 12 months for $50, 12 months for
Right.
60 from PlayStation and from Xbox, right? So you look at, okay, PlayStation's online, and when I look at these, I look at it as the online service as a whole, right? Not
Mhm.
just these things. Okay.
But see, that's the
Like-
thing, because again, not to cut you off, but it's like,
Mhm.
what am I playing online? Seriously. Anybody in the chat or on the panel, like, name me 5 online games you're playing right now. Name me 3.
Like
Nintendo?
on Switch?
Yeah, on the Switch.
Okay, on the Switch, I have played, not currently playing. I have played Mario Golf and Mario Party
That's
and
2.
Smash Bros.
See
I
what
play
I'm
Animal
saying?
Crossing, Mario Kart.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like, so for you guys to up the price for little to no games people are playing online, that's why I'm like, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, give us
that's-
more online games. Like, make contact whatever company you need contact, say, hey, this might be a good idea if you guys add a co-op or more multiplayer or whatever. Then the price point would make sense. But now it's like, why am I paying more to play my same two games online?
Yeah, they got Splatoon and they got what's the other one? Arms as well, right? But like they're making a Splatoon 3.
Right.
Now, the part of the problem though is why I don't think they have more online stuff is because of the hardware. It's very limited.
Mhm.
Right? Like they're just now came out with a Switch that even allows for Ethernet jack to be plugged in. Right? Like other than that, before you had to rely on Wi-Fi. So it was like it's just never been a priority for them. Like I get charging for games, which just seems like this is ultimately really what they're doing. They're not. They need to just get rid of the online aspect of this name and just say Nintendo Switch uh game expansion or something to like back. Really, it's a backwards compatibility expansion is what it is, because like the online functionality is nil. If they made their online games free, would it change anything really with them? Because I don't think people are necessarily paying for Switch Online for the ability to, as maybe they are to play the games online. I don't know. Maybe that's the number one reason they're doing it. But like I'm using other services to chat with people when I play Switch Online.
Right.
I'm using a phone, or I'm using like the PC chat, right? Or Xbox party chat, right? Like for them to charge $50, like this is what PlayStation offers you, right? They just had Hell Let Loose come out on PS Plus. They had two other games that were on there. So you get 3 games a month, right? Plus you get party chat, you get you get the online play, you get discounts on a lot of games, and then you get that the PS Plus welcome pack or whatever when you get the PS5 with all those PS Plus games on it, right? Like if that's roughly the same price per year, as this Switch thing. So comparatively, what they're offering for about the same price is it's crazy. Like in comparison, it's just like I just don't get it how they keep doing this stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna have to get that. The only thing that they are offering here that I can say, hey, other people need to look at is that family plan,
Right.
right? That's good. I like the fact that they're doing the family plan, right? But
Mhm.
you know, I just don't get it. I don't understand. So I want to be into their announcements. I want to be excited for their announcements. I want to be like, oh, cool, you know. But I think I think the hardware is so limiting that they're trying to make do with what they got, and it's not a problem for them because they keep selling out, right?
Right.
So we'll see. Maybe eventually they'll change. We'll see how many people upgrade their service. I know
Yeah.
there's one person on here that's going
Yeah,
to.
I want to play Animal Crossing.
Well, you can get Animal Crossing for $25. You can get the expansion without doing the whole $50 thing.
Yeah, but I play with my mom. I play with my niece. My sister has a Switch,
Right.
so
What
just
I'm saying
paying.
is you already pay for a family plan, right?
Mhm.
And how much is that currently? Is like 30 bucks a year or something like that?
Something like that. I don't know. Something like
So
30 or 40 a year.
so you could just buy the expansion, I think, and everybody gets access to it. And it
Do
you don't
they?
have
I don't know.
yeah, you can buy the expansion for
Yeah, I think
$25.
so. Yeah.
Then I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see that goes back to what I was saying. Like, I just don't get the I don't get the reason behind that really.
So yeah, if you were paying the extra $25, like, which is fair for me to say, hey, this is the extra $25, you get in Genesis games and 64 games out of it. So that just depends on if you want the 64 games or the Genesis games, right?
Yeah.
Which like the fact that they included that expansion in here is so like, man, that was like such a smart move
Mhm.
because like they're gonna get so many people to sign up just because of that expansion for Animal Crossing. It's crazy.
Mhm.
It's so smart. God, man, they whoever it was a genius who figured who did this. It's so interesting, man. It's so out of left field. Um, that they're still hard to get right now, right? Switches. So they're not having any trouble selling out, and I don't think this is going to hurt them at all. It's going to help them. Uh, PlayStation is trying to work on a solution for stock for the holidays. So have you guys seen this? It's a PlayStation has a registration they're doing for holiday shoppers. So this is for you, chat, as well. If you're trying, I saw people in the chat earlier talking about, hey, I haven't been able to get a PS5 yet, right? So if you're one of those people, this is for you. Like, they have a new registration open where you can sign up and get in line for this holiday to get a PS5. It used to only be by invite from PlayStation Plus members, right? Based on activity, they sent out invites, but you're gonna actually go and register for it. So this is from Tom's Guide. It says that scoring a Sony PS5 restock could get a little easier next month. Sony Direct is now allowing gamers to register for its invite-only PS5 restock events. Signing up doesn't guarantee you'll get a PS5, nor does it guarantee you'll get an invite, but it does increase your chances of getting the invite-only email from Sony. And basically, what PlayStation is doing is going to weigh basically like the people that have played PlayStation more and they haven't gotten one yet are higher up on the list, right? So I agree with that as well because you're trying to sell to your fan base people that have been there, right? So, but if you want to try and get one, I'm gonna put a link in the chat. I think this is good. I wish Xbox would do this as well, right? Because there's a lot of people trying to get that Series X. Um, or is anybody here going to try and take advantage of that?
I already got lucky with waiting for my PS5 on Black Friday. I missed the initial invite that they did at the original pre-order. So I wound up camping out Black Friday for my PS5. But it's great that they're at least opening this up. But I'm hearing once you sign up, definitely keep an eye on your email account, because I think you only get like, I don't even think you get a full 24 hours. Like once you get that email, you better go to their site and buy it right then and there.
Yeah.
So it's great to see. It'd be nice if Xbox does something similar. Um, but yeah, it's a good alternative if you're not going to deal with the craziness of camping out at stores or constantly hitting that refresh button and want to avoid the scalpers online.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I already have my PS5. I know Key's already got his Phasma. Do you have any interest in getting one right now? Or I know you have the PS4.
I have a PS4. Yeah, I haven't played anything on it in a while. No, I don't think
Right.
I'll go. I don't even if a game like God of War was exclusive to PS5, I still don't think I would get one.
Okay. Cool. Do you think you'll get one eventually? Like at like some point? Like is there a certain game that would push you into really wanting a PS5?
And yeah, a new Uncharted.
A new Uncharted? Okay.
Nathan Drake, man, he is my husband. Elena, watch out.
I love it.
Has there even been rumblings of that? A new Uncharted game?
No, but they kind of dropped the Lost Legacy on us without us really
Yeah.
knowing either. But who
Right.
knows? They might not be making another one, but that would be
Yeah.
that would make me want a PS5.
It seems like The Last of Us like had so much attention, right? With not and I'm they did 4 Uncharted games, right? Plus the Lost Legacy. It's like, I mean, hopefully they're not done with that franchise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there was the one on the Vita also.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I
That was a good
think
game.
I think they're doing a director's cut for Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4. So I don't know if that's going to include like, I know like my wife has the special edition Nathan Drake PS4. Maybe if they do a special edition Nathan Drake one with that remaster or the director's cut, that might be something to keep an eye out for. But I know that's supposed to be coming within a year.
Yeah. That's cool. I don't know. Like I want there to be like some announcement from PlayStation that just like blows me away.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's gonna happen. But I'm surprised. Like the Wolverine thing, like that was huge. You know what I mean? They if I didn't have a PS5 already and they announced Wolverine, I would absolutely have to make sure I had one before Wolverine comes out. But I don't
Yep.
know when that's coming out. It's like 2024 or 2025 probably. I have no clue, right? Unless they said, maybe they said 2023, I don't know. But GT7, I really want one, but like again, like a lot of these like Phasma said are cross-gen, right? So like as far as that goes, I guess it doesn't I haven't seen besides the 60 frames like and this goes for Xbox too, right? And maybe it's about to change with Forza. I haven't seen a cross-gen game so far make me say, "Oh my gosh, that's insane." Right? Now, they all look great and they run amazingly at 60 frames, you know, and that's reason enough for me to value
Hmm.
these consoles, right? Because I want to play the best experience, whatever these games are, and 60 frames hits different. It makes these games feel good, right? But I want to see that game that's just like, holy shit, like that is
Yeah.
insane. Like that was not capable, that was not possible, and I haven't seen it yet from anything. But I think Forza on cross gen may be that game, right?
Hmm.
Flight Sim was like that, but it would play it at 30 frames on new consoles, right? Like, so that one is even like okay. Um, it looks beautiful, but like it's still limited by hardware, even new hardware. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Well,
yeah, I think
that
that
game
Forza
still
game's gonna
cripples
be
PCs too. So
exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I get
yeah.
every piece. You know.
I mean, I'm with you guys on that because it's like, you know, I still tell people like, look, you don't have to necessarily rush out there to get a PS5 as of now because, you know, it's like a lot of their big games get pushed back to next year. You know,
Mhm.
so like people is looking forward to Forbidden West. You know, I don't know why everybody thought God of War was coming out this year. Who I don't know, but
Well,
people's looking.
PlayStation originally said so. That's why.
Yeah, yeah, they said it, and that was it. The next news
Yeah,
was it's
exactly.
getting put on. But it's like, you know, I feel like honestly, next year holiday will probably be the time to get a PS5, if not the year before that. You know, because I'm with you. There's not a game out there right now that really. I think only game that wowed me on the PS5 was Kena. Which one is it?
Kana. It's
Kana.
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 Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kana was the only game where I was like, it was just something about the art style. And you know, everybody even said Ratchet and Clank. I bought Ratchet and Clank, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty, but you know, that was it. Like it wasn't nothing to it. But I'm with you. Like, there's not a game on the PS5 right now that's just like, I gotta get it. I have to have it.
Mhm.
I need it. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a game out there right now, and it's like not you know trying to praise Game Pass, but it's like I'd rather get my Series X to play my older games on that run smoother, better. Like you said, at 60 frames, that's a different ballpark. You know, that boost. So it's like I'd rather get my Series X and get that going versus my PS5 just to be like, I could play these games on the PS4. You know, like
Even if they announced The Last of Us 3, I wouldn't even be interested in buying that. So
yeah, I mean it's a hard buy. I mean, of course everybody wants a new toy,
yeah.
you know, but it's like if you really sit down and think about it, probably a year or two from now, that's when you'll probably get that wild experience. Like, oh my gosh, got to have a PS5 or whatever, you know. Even to Forbidden West, it's like it looked good, but you know, I'm not jumping through hoops. I love God of War, but that's another game. I'm not, you know, flipping out my chair, jumping out my window trying to get a like. Although I got a PS5, still just like I just think probably a year or so from now, that's when people really need to start trying to get a PS5. I think it's great they're doing what they're doing, Sony, to make sure that the people want a PS5 get one.
Mhm.
But you know, like I said, just all about wanting the new toy right now. You want the new toy, holidays coming around, so that's definitely a plus. You know, hopefully Microsoft will do the same before Christmas roll around. And it's like, but yeah, as of now, PlayStation to me don't have that big game. You know,
Yeah. I think too, like a lot of the games are like very story based games, which are great, you know. But like it's
Mhm.
you don't a lot of times you don't necessarily care as much about going back and playing through that again because you already experienced the story and you know what's going to happen. You already finished
Right?
it and stuff. So it's like, hey, do I want to necessarily go back and play that at 60 frames? I might want to try it out, but I'm not investing a lot of time into it still.
Hmm.
Whereas, you know, a lot of the games on Xbox have multiplayer, and a lot of the multiplayer games at 60 frames that people are still
Right.
playing today, right? Hit a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. But as far as like PS5, obviously, like I mean, it's selling like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's number one selling next gen console right now, and they can't keep it in stock. I'm hoping that this helps people that really want one. And as far as what play, you're gonna play the games that you've been playing on PS4, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. You'll play the best version of it, and that's been the same way on Xbox too. Like,
Hmm.
and if somebody were to ask me that's not really like super into it or doesn't care, is like really casual, I would say wait until like a year or two. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But like, if you're really into it, you game every day on both consoles. It's worth having the next gen because the experience is just flat out better.
The
Right.
load time is
Yeah.
such a big benefit. Not having to wait like a minute and so for a game to load. Although the drawback
Oh my
is
gosh, yeah.
trying to get a snack or run to the restroom between like a match or something like that, or between a chapter or whatever. Yeah, all that went out the window. Like game tips, I don't even think those even work anymore. Because I mean, with some games, I think Ghost of Tsushima, they have it where you can now keep it on the game tips. But even Ghost of Tsushima was loading pretty quick on the PS4. But the games on the PS5 from my backup catalog on the PS4, it's definitely a boost or a bonus not having to wait 30 seconds for to load a racetrack
Mhm.
for Gran Turismo Sport and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like it's the next gen currently is about the feeling and the experience more so than next gen games, right? And it'll get there, right?
Yeah.
It'll definitely get there. Um, it's just not there yet. Next year, I think we're gonna see a couple of titles released next year, and Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5 releasing this holiday. Like, I think the experience is gonna be drastically different on current gen and next gen consoles. So that could be reason enough there as well. Um, and we'll see if something comes out maybe to sell Phasma PS5. I'm gonna sell it on GT7.
Uncharted. She already said it. Uncharted.
I would buy one for Uncharted, probably.
And even to the end, if they announce a new Uncharted, she still got to wait like 2 years for them to complete it. So
I'll just wait for the PS6.
there you go.
Were you into Resistance? Did you like the Resistance games? Because there's been rumblings of a new Resistance. Potentially.
Oh,
No, I don't even think I've ever heard of those games, honestly.
Resistance. They were in Insomniac, and it was kind of like a darker tone game that they made. What about Killzone? You a Killzone fan?
No, no,
Trying to think of all the PlayStation franchises. What about Order 1886?
I didn't play it either.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if I mean I really want to play God of War, but I don't know how much. I don't think I would. I don't want to buy a PS5 for God of War.
Yeah, well, you won't have to. It's gonna be cross-gen.
Yeah. But
So
see then.
problem solved.
Yeah, that's good.
And it'll also probably be out on PC after a few months after release because
Mhm.
of what they've come out and said recently, right? We talked a little bit, I think, about that last week with their comments, right? I think they're going to be bringing their games to PC sooner than later. As
I
you
hope
know,
they do.
Well, hey guys, this was awesome discussion again. Chat, you were amazing as well. Liam, Back from Dead, UK Lad, Jesse B, OCD Gamer, Peter, everybody here hanging out. Louis, again, thank you guys so much. P Dub, can't wait. Hey, we're on the cusp of some awesome games. There's already lots of stuff to play right now. We just beat Back for Blood last night, finally, and I want to play Riftbreaker, and I want to finish Ratchet and Clank. I want to finish um, so many games. It's like holy crap. I don't know what to. I got a lot to do before Forza comes out. I got to try and clear some more of this backlog. But I want to thank Phasma Key and Fuzzy again. Phasma, if you can, tell everybody where they can find your awesome reviews and all that stuff, and also your Twitch
Thanks.
streams.
Oh, I sometimes stream on Twitch. My name is Phasma00. You can find my work on seasongaming.com. We also have a contest right now for it's an October writing contest. So the theme for this month is to write a horror game synopsis. And then you can send the submissions to me, and I'll be posting the winners on my site, and the winner will go on seasongaming.com. And yes, Louis, anti-Phasma. Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at AKA Phasma.
Cool.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Well, having me on your show, by the way.
Yeah, love having you here each week, Phasma. Looking forward to the future of Phasma's thoughts on FSP. Yo, Key, thanks for hanging out with us as always, dude. Make sure everybody knows where to find your channel as well.
Man, I love being here. I love it. Thank you for having me. I'm always excited now for the following week. So, but yeah, you guys can
dude.
find me on Gaming Key on Twitter. I'm always on there saying some nonsense. And sorry about that. My little one, he had some candy or something, so he like right next to me,
Crazy.
just running around the circle. Anyway,
That's fine.
But yeah, so I do stream on YouTube as well. Just Key. You know, I pick up all the new games. There are so many games I need to go back and play. So, but yeah, just love video games, love talking about it. If you guys want to chop it up and talk some games, that's where you can find me on Twitter, Gaming Key, or just Key first to YouTube.
Okay. You just had a reaction trailer to Hazard Zone as well for Battlefield. Check that out, guys.
Yes, God, I did that like 4 in the morning, so I might have been a little dry because I had a busy week and I didn't get a chance to watch. I'm normally on top of it, but yeah, I was half asleep when I did that reaction, but it woke me up. Let me tell you, it woke me up.
It's a difference, but it's the same mode almost as Ghost Recon Frontline. The difference is this is part of a Battlefield experience that's still a Battlefield experience. It's another mode. They're not replacing it or with a standalone thing, you know.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Fuzzy, thank you for being here as well, man. I appreciate you, all of you guys, for agreeing to do this with me every week. And Fuzzy, hey, tell everybody where they can find you on Shop and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I wanted to thank you guys for having me on again, and I just love being here. This is so awesome. Just talking games with you guys, and going over the weekend gaming news is just so great. For those of you that want to follow me on Twitter, you can find me at Fuzzy_Belvedere. Usually, and actually last week I did a Twitter Spaces on Forza Horizon 5 and some of the excitement behind it and some of the confusion that was going around about the expansions and things. So you may see an impromptu Twitter Spaces here and there, Forza related. You can also catch me in like the next hour at the Shop Podcast, where it's me, PTK Blam, Pong Soul, and Centurion 1307. Basically talking shop on some gaming stuff, multiplayer related, single player related, and just, you know, a lot of what we've been doing over the past week or so in gaming and things like that. And man, this was awesome. Always appreciate doing this. My favorite hobby. So thanks again for letting me be a part of it.
Heck yeah. Again, in chat, you guys rock as well. Hey, look out for me and Pong's new show on Thursday, PM in the PM. It's going to start this coming week. Look for Fun Pop on Wednesdays. We got a lot to cover on Fun Pop on Wednesday because DC fandom happened today and it was crazy. So that's going to be on Wednesdays. Fridays, we got Xbox Ultimate. Saturdays here at FSP. Mondays, we got tidbits. Lots of stuff. We've got a full slate now on this channel. Super happy to be bringing it to everybody as long as you guys want to see it. So I love you all, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Killer Instinct 2 is in the works, supposedly. Yes, that just was supposedly was announced. So not announced by Xbox. Dropped potentially. Killer Instinct 2 may be in the works, guys. Rumor mill.
Yeah.
But hey, it sounds awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Peace out, you guys. Play some games this weekend.
Heck yeah.
Yes.